Currently in the state of California, there are 743 people that have been convicted of capital punishment, which is the death penalty. And the last execution of a person was in 2006. You should listen to this speech because I'm going to be telling you about Proposition 66 and all of the different components that are in it, and you will be therefore understanding of the death penalty. In this speech, I'm going to talk about three main components of Proposition 66. The first one is going to be how the procedure is going to be changing. The second one is going to be how the inmate is going to be working to pay money to the families. And the third is how the money is going to be either brought in or going to be going out. So the first part is, right now, the appeals are all going to the Supreme Court. But with this, it's going to start at the trial court, and this is going to start with the original judge, and they're going to check each side to make sure they both have competent attorneys, and then once the judge deems this to be a lawful incrimination, then it's going to go to the State of Appeals, or Court of Appeals. And once the appeals court says that yes, this is a good case to be appealed, then it's going to be heard in front of the Supreme Court. And this, right now, an average person spends about 15 to 24 years of their life trying to appeal their conviction. And this, once you are convicted, you have 5 years to appeal, or you basically run out of time. And right now, they're spending a lot of money because they keep trying to fight and fight and fight. And then people appeal like 2, 3, 4 times. And once they try to appeal once, they cannot appeal anymore with this proposition. They have to take more and more consideration of who is trying to appeal and who is not. So the second thing I'll talk about is the inmates actually having to work. So they will be working. They can be transported from prison to prison to work, or they can be have a chaperone and work outside, as long as they are not a high security risk. They have to be regulated and checked at all times, and they will be required to pay about 50 to 70% of their earnings to the families that they regularly damage. This money is meant to pay for any debts, any funeral costs, any just basically bills, and just try to make their lives just a little bit better. And the main part of that is just try to give the families their closure or a little bit more peace of mind because of what happened. And once they work, they are actually, The third part I want to talk about is the different money aspects of this proposition. So right now, the states are actually spending about tens of millions of dollars a year on all these cases. And once all of those cases are actually resolved, then once the process starts of only having 5 years, they will be saving a lot more money because they won't have to be spending money on representation for both sides. They won't have to be spending money to pay the judges, and they won't be housing as many inmates in the different jails because they can actually confine them to one jail instead of keeping them in specific jails. They'll have one high security jail, and they will be spending less money either housing, transporting, feeding them, and the actual execution itself. So they will, the taxpayers are spending right now an average of $33,000 or $1 million a year because they are housing and they are spending the money to feed them and all of that. So that money will actually be taken and be used elsewhere, either in schooling or in city beautification, which is making the city look better. So they have to spend more money right now, though, because they're trying to solve all of the cases right now. And once the cases are solved right now, then they can start. If this proposition gets passed, they can save more money. And in this speech, I just talked about the different components, which was the changing of the death penalty procedure, the inmates having to work for the victim restitutions. And the third part I talked about was the different money aspects of this proposition.